Two police officers arrived at the cult's hideout. They were investigating a missing persons case. In the basement were failed deformed test subjects being held captive. But what the officers saw was an illusion entirely different from reality. And all of this was the result of an illusion cast by the woman. One of the officers raised his hand and tapped the fish tank. Little did he know that in reality, he was actually tapping the iron cage holding the mutants. The other officer meanwhile fixed his gaze on a stone carving on the wall. Just as the captive in reality was about to touch the officer, the woman suddenly spoke, successfully diverting the officer's attention. But the officer had no idea that he had already been splashed with some kind of liquid. His partner, seeing him drenched in sweat, assumed he was simply weak. But when he reached out to touch him, he discovered that it was actually a viscous unknown substance. At first neither of them gave it a second thought, but just a few minutes later, the face of the officer in the driver's seat began to mutate. His entire body went limp and twisted. His features were completely distorted. The entire police car lost control and plunged down the hillside. Kelly and her group, who happened to be nearby, rushed over to rescue them. Only Roger, who possessed powerful abilities, watched coldly from the sidelines. He had absolutely no intention of getting involved in this mess. When Corey reached out to pull the officer, she found his body to be limp and boneless. Moreover, his hands were covered in a sticky substance. But at that moment the two of them just wanted to get the officer out as quickly as possible. However, when they pulled him up, his face instantly terrified them both. By then the vehicle had already burst into flames. Paul and Corey gave it their all, but it was to no avail. To avoid revealing her powers, Roger could only watch helplessly as it all unfolded. But in the end she secretly used her psychic powers, making Paul believe it was a sudden burst of his own strength. Meanwhile, while Tom was fetching water, he was suddenly startled by a dark shadow. But as he cautiously approached the red bucket, he was startled again by a large fish that suddenly appeared. By this time Corey had successfully rescued the mutated police officer. But while Tom was talking to Paul, he unexpectedly triggered his own superpower. His body became firmly fused to the car and Paul. These were two living human lives. Roger could no longer afford to hide his abilities. He immediately unleashed his psychic power, attempting to force a